Hello, everyone. Well, this is pretty much the story of me. I was born, I'm 49 now. The end. Okay, I'm messing around with you guys. All right. Honestly, though, this is the story of me. We're going to go through some of the trauma I've been through, some of the good things, everything that has made me who I am today, whatever that might be. And look, I shaved up and I kept this. I'm gonna see how long I can handle it. Okay, now, let's see here. Obviously, I was born or hatched, whatever you guys want to think. Childhood, it was good. It was good until, certain things happened in my life. Now, I do have two brothers, an older brother and a younger brother. From a very young age, I was very protective. So that's always been with me. Now, the one incident that I remember that kind of started all of that, I was in elementary school. Behind the elementary school on the way home, there was a big gully, and it ran all the way. We'd hop the wall and then hop the wall in our backyard and go home. One day, my older brother and myself, we were walking home, and a group of kids came up and started something with my older brother, and they got into a scuffle. Then this other bigger kid, he had tried to get in, and by this time my mom, she was looking over the wall, and she could see what was going on. And her girlfriend also. Now, when the guy came to my brother, I don't know if I thought or anything. I don't remember any thought whatsoever. I just remember the incident. I had grabbed him by his shoulders first, pushed him, grabbed him by the neck, and some reason, and he was much larger than me, some reason, whatever it was, I started to raise him up. And I was mad. So my mom's girlfriend, she ended up getting there while his feet were off of the ground, and I was angry. I wasn't saying anything. Her girlfriend got me to let go. I let go. And from that moment, there was just something inside my head that said, I need to protect people. At that moment, it was more like my family, my close friends, things like that. So that's what started the protection. Now let's move on. The sign language. Really, really young. My two best friends at the time, they were born completely deaf. So basically I learned for them. Most people know that, but a lot of people don't. So I just learned for them when I was real young, so that way we could communicate better. It was much easier than writing stuff back and forth. Much easier. Now that's how that started. We'll get more into that later because they're involved later also in a trauma. So that made me happy, and then I had a feeling that it helped them, and that was something special. I was young. I was really young. So nothing clicked. Like nothing was, it was still a puzzle, just scattered everywhere. Now, we'll move on a little bit. When I was before my 10th birthday, okay, we'll backtrack a little bit. 8 years old, my father had died. He was fixing a truck. The truck fell on his head. So I don't recall basically anything. Um, whether that's blacked out or I just was too young, well, I'm not sure. Okay, now a little further. I was in elementary school. This was before my 10th birthday. I was actually staying with my aunt and uncle, and they were going somewhere. So they asked the guy, the grown man that lived next door, which was actually a friend. Hold on. So he ended up watching me, and while he was watching, now keep in mind this was before my 10th birthday. While he was watching me, he violently assaulted me. And I don't mean physically, like with your hands. I mean the bad way. Now, keep in mind, you guys, back then, this is 1985, mid 1985, almost early 1985. There was no computers. There was no way to look to see if your neighbor was on a list of any kind. So, and those type of things, they just didn't pop up like they do now. So it was a totally different time. Now, that happened. I pretty much, when I finally got back home, first, I wasn't walking right. That's to be expected because of what just happened to me. I didn't talk. It took, Jesus Christ, it took my Nana and my Uncle Chuck, holy shit, so long for me to even talk, like to speak. Trauma, 9 years old. So they finally got me to talk. I told them what happened. Immediately they called the police. Well, my Nana had to stop my uncle from going over there. She called the police. They showed up probably in 2 minutes. I don't know if they were down the street or what, but they showed up immediately. Asked it, went through everything, what happened and stuff like that. The officer that was there talking to me personally, very nice, very, very nice. And especially at that time, it was not easy to talk about what happened because I didn't fully understand what just happened to me. So they actually had arrested him right then. After that, they had to take me to the hospital, of course. Had to do some tests and all that. And kind of get fixed. So let's see now. I ended up getting back home, and he ended up going to jail and ended up going to prison. So, and at the time we didn't know that he had another charge against his daughter it was almost 10 years previous. Again, was no real way to find out. And that wasn't something that runs around in people's heads back then. Okay, so that, talk about screwing up a kid. That did. So after that, pretty much everything changed. I hated everything. Like, there wasn't anything that I didn't despise, hated men, like most of all. That stayed for so long. Like, we'll get into that later too. And this is going to be a long video, you guys. I'm sorry. Now, after all that, and I pretty much shut down that's kind of when I started to be violent. And it, not like, well, yeah, I started to be violent. Um, I blamed myself. Have no idea why. Um, let's see. Yeah, just being a little. I was being hood. I was being just a bad kid. I didn't care anymore. Let's see. Then pretty much everybody knows I spent a lot of time when I was young in St. Jude's Ranch for Children. Mostly by my own choice because I was wild. And I mean next level wild. I was getting arrested when I was like 10, 11, 12. I spent a lot of time in juvenile hall. A lot of time. Anything bad I could do, I was trying to do. Yeah. Just whatever bad, like it didn't matter what it was to me. Again, I stopped caring about every single thing, everything in existence. Then by the time 11 or 12, that's when my violence escalated bad. Like bad. So, yeah, by 12, there was, if somebody looked at me wrong, I didn't care if it was a group of people, didn't care what happened to me, not a single thing. I would attack, and it like mercilessly attack. And it's wrong, but hey, going through some shit. Now that went on and on all through my teens, all through my neighborhoods would worry when I would come through. Like that's how bad it got. I didn't care if I was fighting the police. I didn't care if I was fighting a group of people. I didn't care if I was fighting people in their vehicles. It was, I didn't, I guess you could say I just didn't love anything, including me. Now, also when I was a teenager in junior high, I had a best buddy there. He was an older guy. He was in high school. He was actually one of the top people in one of the largest gangs in Las Vegas. But he always taught me, you're not doing this. So he would pick me up from junior high, 6th grade, and walk with me home. We'd just talk like, he was like a brother. Now, I had some problems this one week with a few guys in school, and they actually were in high school. They come to pick up their brothers or whatever to the junior high. Had some problems with them, and like they had an issue. So the next day, my buddy Peter was his name. He came to pick me up, and there was a car full of guys that drove by right in front of the school, right where we were standing, rolled down the window, and a sawed-off 12-gauge shotgun came out, pointed at me. So he ended up jumping in front we won't go into the details, but he didn't make it, and I ended up bloody, put it that way. So that was like, for being young, for being young, trauma, a lot of it. So after that, I ditched school, literally ditched school so much, and I was getting arrested. The truant officers were coming to the house to get me, like, so much that the judge, after what had happened, the judge even said to my mom, you know, let him do it. Let him stay out. Keep him out. He's not going back. So, yeah, I ended up leaving then. Didn't change anything. I still was angry. Then, let's see, that's pretty much the young trauma. Now we go into my late teens, where I was still an ass. Like, I was a jerk. I still wasn't caring. By the time I hit 21, and I kind of remember it, exact, I woke up and I just had a feeling that I wasn't doing right. And not like thinking it, it was a feeling. So things started to change then, and for the better. Now keep in mind, I was still screwing up within that time, but there was noticeable things changing about, like, everything. My attitude, the way I viewed things, the way I was feeling inside and outside. Like, it's hard to, my vision, like, my vision was changing, for the better. Like, things were getting crisp, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Like, that's the only way I can explain it. Now, while things are changing, there was a couple things that went on that, like, I just don't have an explanation at all. One that was kind of the kickstart to the dramatic change, and knowing or not knowing, feeling that I have to be here for people. It was late November, right around 1999. I was dead asleep. It was in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning. I woke up, and for some reason, like, it's crazy, but for some reason, I had to go to the convenience store. But I had to walk, which I would have not done, especially at that time of year. I would have drove, and it was only like a block away. But for some reason, I had to walk. This was coming from inside me. So take it however you take it. I have no explanation. This is just something that happened that has brought me to where I am today. Now, when I wake up with this feeling, my girlfriend at the time, I wake her up, and I'm like, hey, I have to go to the store. And she's like, what? I said, don't ask. I have to go to the store and I have to walk. And she was kind of freaking out, but she ended up coming with me. I'm walking down the street and I get probably a half a block away, and out of the corner of my eye in the distance, I see an elderly lady. She's on the far side of the street. Now, she stuck in my head because she was actually in a nightgown, a longer nightgown, and it's in the end of November, 2 o'clock in the morning. Don't really think anything of it. We're both walking, my girlfriend and myself, we're walking up the street. We get almost directly across from where I had seen her, and I wasn't really paying any more attention. I was just going to the store. That was what I was supposed to be doing right then. Now, when I get to this one point, like this, and the only way I can explain is, if you can picture a lion roaring in your face this close, like their loud roar, how you would feel it and it would go through you basically. I felt and heard the word run. So, and there is a traffic, this is Las Vegas, so there's some traffic. I don't say a word. I run into the street. I had to even hold my hand out and hop over the corner of one car. I get the elderly lady. She had walked to the center median of the road. She was trying to cross the street. But when I got to her, she was falling backwards. So I run, right. She's going like this. I run real quick, get her head. I fling her head up here, and my backhand went down, and a car ended up hitting it. This one, it's a harder one. Composure, Scott. If, like, whatever happened in that moment, if it didn't happen, she would not have, that would have been it for her. So, still not sure what that feeling, Yeah, this is going to be a long video. I am so sorry, you guys. Okay, moving on. That was the moment that, I don't know if anybody's ever felt it or if you personally have or not, but it's like it's hard to even explain. It's, you are needed. You have to do something. So, that was what started that. Now, everything changed after that. Like, completely changed. And there was more trauma, like, family members passing, things like that. Now, the injury thing, that's kind of always been a thing with me. In 2003, I fell off a 2-story roof on a wrought iron fence and broke 5 of my discs in my back. I was paralyzed for 9 months, was told by everybody I would never walk again. 9 months later, I was teaching myself how to walk again on both feet. Now, I wobbled a lot, and man, I took a lot of falls, but you see, I get around. Now, um, that kind of, hold on one second, recompose myself. Ooh. Okay, now, the, when you get a feeling that you're supposed to be here, a lot of things happen, like little signs of this and that. I mean, as weird as it sounds, like, take it as you want. This is my life experience. So, I just take it out ever you want. Everything I've said, take it how you would like. Now, after breaking my back, just injury after injury. You guys know, in 3 years ago, I broke my neck twice. And I did it in the hangman's break. That's what they call it. It should have ended me, it didn't. And I'm not paralyzed. Then some more accidents happen, of course. You guys know, I used to be right-handed, for the ones that don't know. I get a lot of questions about this. I ran my hand down a 10-inch brand new carving knife, cut all my tendons, muscle, everything, nerves, halfway into the bones. And this is it now. So I'm just left-handed now. It was easier just teaching myself to be left-handed real quick. And that was just 2 years ago I did this. Now, honestly, all of the bad things, at this point in my life, all of the bad things that have happened to me, I think, oddly enough, were supposed to happen to me. One reason it wouldn't happen to somebody else. And all of these traumas I've been through so I can help people, which I feel I am supposed to be doing. That is why I do what I do so much, you guys. I want the world to come together. And it's working. Like, people have they're from all over the world talking to each other, interacting, everything. It's the greatest feeling in the world. Now, with all of my traumas, I'm able to sit there with somebody that has been through all that, and like I said, that I've been through everything somebody can be through. And look at me today. If I can do it, anybody can. Now, I can't say you just snap your fingers and everything's better. It takes work. It takes quite a bit of work. But all of that work depends on you. Sometimes it's hard, because when I'm trying to help somebody, I have to relive my own trauma. That shit ain't easy. But I do. I simply do, because people need me. Now, the platforms, they're wonderful in ways for people to all over the world to just come together. And that's all I want. I want people everywhere come together, be happy, smile. Now, yeah, you guys, that's kind of where I'm at. It's taken a lot of mental, physical, emotional pain and trauma to be the person that you see, you have seen, things, no matter, there's always a positive in every negative. I was a 9-year-old that got touched. Well, a lot more than that. But in that negative, the positive is it didn't happen to anybody else. Hey, I got strong shoulders to hold all that. Now, a lot of you guys know that I am going to school to become, I'm looking forward to it, to become a professional life coach. I am really looking forward to that. Now, I hope this helps you guys. Now, real quick, another thing, I would like to, a lot of people, they don't want to be on video. They don't want to express things that they want to. Mostly out of fear. Like, it's common. That's so normal. It's so normal to be scared of that type of thing. Now, here's a way to look at it, okay? And this is going to help you guys. When you're looking into the camera, you're literally not talking, and there's nobody there except for you and the camera. So all your thoughts, everything you want to let out, and you should let out, and you want other people to hear it, to help them, all you're doing is telling yourself right now. I'm telling myself right now. Nobody, you guys haven't even seen this yet. It's just me and the camera. Just like when I'm doing my videos. I dance around with my hands and act a fool literally to myself. And I know if I feel happy in that moment, you guys will. Now, if you can't do it like that, think of the phone as your best friend. Like your best friend. And you're just talking to your best friend. I'm literally looking at myself right now. That's why everything's backwards. So I'm looking at me. I am talking to me. But I'm explaining my story to you guys. So think about that one. Let that one sink in a little bit. All of you have stories that could help somebody. It doesn't hurt at all to sit here and talk to yourself, to have a story to share with everybody. Now, that's almost 35 minutes I wasted of your guys' time. I am so sorry. So incredibly sorry. Honestly though, I hope this helps. I hope it helps you guys understand and know me better and know why I bust. And I mean bust, but to do this. These are bags, because I don't sleep. You guys know that. I'm busy. Help. Alright, you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you.